All praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh, double honors to Apostle and Elders in New York, GMS, and Saturns heading you around the world is teaching the truth. My name is Maya Kahala Nagar with Chicago branch of GMS, and I'd like to make a disclaimer that we are not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. All right. Black is a color, not a nationality. Nobody is the color of ink or tire or tar, and nobody's white like cotton. All right, and like notebook paper. All right. And also, we're not identify with any black identity extreme groups. All right. So, we're just going to analyze this guy, B-Mal's 84 Conscious channel, and just show you how, just basically how ignorant how people are, man. And just basically how destroyed. And he's talking about the illegal immigrants. The so-called Mexicans, tribe of Issachar, so-called Hondurans, all right, which is Zebulon, all right, so-called Guatemalans, Zebulon, and most of the legal immigrants, they come from Canada. They don't come from Mexico. You see, that's another thing. Our people real, they ignorant, man. All right. It says right here, Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. It said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children." All right, so our people destroyed, man. We're in a low state. We don't know who the hell we are. We not truly aware of what's going on in the politics and the surrounding world. All right, and you can see right here, this guy, his mind is destroyed, man. He's an example of the spiritual and mental condition our people are, man. All right, so watch this. And you can see the title said, "Legal immigrants, go fuck yourselves. You don't belong here. Hold your own nuts."
Coming to you live once again with another video from the B-Miles 84 Conscious channel. And I actually want to come to y'all with another video, man, talking about how illegal immigrants, your ass need to get the fuck out of here. Your asses gotta go. And the reason why I'm going to be saying that illegal immigrants must go and y'all need to get the fuck up out of here, up out of this goddamn country. Why? Because your ass is illegal. I'm sick and tired of illegal immigrants coming over here, getting all different kinds of benefits and reap the rewards. And
illegal. Dude, this is the whole United States is America is illegal, man. All right, this is Issachar, their land, man. This is New Canaan. All right, Azaroth. You read 2nd Ezra chapter 13, 39 to 48. All right, America's not your rest stop. America's not the home of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I'm talking about this system. All right, what benefits? You don't got no benefits. All right, it's Esau. Esau hold no benefits from you, man. Esau giving it to the other tribes, man. Putting the tribes against each other. It said what? 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It said, "Let Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of devices." Right. So we brothers in the truth, we Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, we're not ignorant of the so-called white man ignorant devices, man. What benefits? All right. What you talking about? Cause a lot of y'all talking about, well, they taking our jobs and all this stuff. What job? What job you had? We ain't no one for all things. Some so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The Israelites, man. It says Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. It said, "Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against in hunger and thirst and in nakedness." Right? We came, he was in hunger, thirst, and nakedness, enslaved, man. All right, the so-called Negroes, Judah, so-called West Indians, Benjamin, so-called Haitians, Levy, and the so-called Mexicans. All right, Issachar, man. They was enslaved too, whether you don't know it or not. You know, they got shipped all over the world. Some was enslaved with you here in North America. Also down in Mexico, man. All right. Before that all right, before that, I forgot what they called Mexico anyway. But anyway, Mexico's made up of different states, just like United States, man. All right. You know, so, you know, they was enslaved too before they got so-called free. All right. And nakedness, in a want of all things, he will put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he had destroyed. Right. So when it want of all things, man, that's a curse. All right. So we had to go to this damn devil to prove that the so-called Mexicans don't control who hired or who Esau hired or who Esau's so-called white man hires and who he fires or who he select for different programs and stuff, man. It said Deuteronomy 28 verse 43. It said a stranger that is within thee should get up very high and thou shalt come down very low. All right, this is the curse of us not obeying the law, statutes, commandments. I like to make a disclaimer, man. Make a quick disclaimer. The curses come up on us, come off of us, and going on to our enemies, so-called white man. That's why you see them all downtrodden in the streets, bombs and shit. Everybody begin to hate him. Everybody begin to see the devil that he truly is. All right, continue. Deuteronomy 28 verse 4. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. All right, so you don't have a say, or you don't have control with the so-called white man to hire a so-called Mexican over the so-called Negro, or you know, hiring a Issacharite over the Judite, so-called Negro. All right, you don't have no control of that, man. All right, that's a damn curse. It said, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He should be the head, thou shalt be the tail. All right, you ain't got no goddamn job, man. All right, you don't got no job. You don't got none of that shit, man. None of that shit you don't control, man.
And the benefits of the people that fought and bled and died for it. These illegal immigrants never fought and bled and died for any of the stuff that they reap and the rewards and the benefits from. I'm sick and tired of them coming over here. I don't want the open borders. I don't like sanctuary cities.
First of all, the civil rights era was set up by Esau's so-called white man. I believe it's the Rockefellers or the Rothschild. You can see Martin Luther King with a picture of him, man. All the civil rights era that was set up. Civil rights was basically to destroy the economy of the so-called Negroes, the tribe of Judah, man. All right, sweat blood. What? They destroyed Esau's so-called white man destroyed Black Wall Street, the Greenwood Financial District in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So you're crying about crumbs and shit, man. Talking to you so-called Negroes out there, so-called African Americans, the tribe of Judah, man. All this shit, tribe of Judah, so-called African American versus the so-called Mexicans, Issachar, or so-called Jamaicans, Benjamin, versus so-called African Americans, Judah, so-called Haitians, the tribe of Levi, versus so-called African American Judah, man. All this is just a bunch of bullshit, man. And confusion caused by the devil, the so-called white man. All right. Where that Willie Lynch? Where's that at, man? Because it's Willie Lynch. Now, Willie Lynch, I believe, man, it's just a mind control program, man. Ain't no damn Willie Lynch. Never existed. All right. You can't find him, man. All right. But anyway, it says right here. Let me tell you, that's our Bible, the King James, so-called black man. All right. The original English, British, all them so-called black people. You had some coons up in there, too. That's why you lost England today, man. Because the coons did dislike King James, the other so-called black man that was ruling. All right, so what they did, they used Esau and put Esau positions and stuff. Esau turned that shit around. Now we lost control of all those countries in Europe, man. That's what they call during the Dark Ages. All right, but anyway, so here go this mind control program. It says, generally, you know what your problem is. I do not elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. All right, so I'm trying to get this right here. I introduce you to a method solving it. In my bag, I have a foolproof method controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of them that installed correctly will control slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have an outline number difference among the slaves and make the difference bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control. This is going on right here. This is what's going on in this video. Envy, fear, and distrust. Illegal immigrants, go fuck yourselves. You don't belong here. Hold your own nuts. All right. So this is what's going on, man. All right. It's nothing but a mind control program, man. To spread the trust among the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It said, D-Meth had work on my modest plantation in the West Indies. It will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of difference and think about it. On my top list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There's intelligence, size of plantation, status on plantations. Added to the owners where the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east, west, south, north. Fine hair. Who got fine hair, man? All right. You know, all 12 tribes got different shades of color, different fine hair. But in this case, who got fine hair? The so-called Mexicans, so-called Native Americans. All right. Yes, they was enslaved with us, man. All right. That's a fact. Coarse hair, Judah, man. Most of the Southern Kingdom. Or is tall or short. Who tall and short between the tribes, man? Judah and Issachar, man. It said, now that you have a little different, I should give you an outline. Before that, I shall show you that the distrust is stronger than trust, envy stronger than adulation, respect, or marriage. The black says, after receiving the doctrine, should carry on, will become self-refueling, self-generation for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. All right, don't you forget to pitch the old black male versus young black male. The young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave. The light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves, all right? You must use the female versus the male and the male versus female, all right? So this is what Esau used, man, this type of mind control, man. Here in America, here in Mexico, here in Puerto Rico, here the Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. All right, this is this damn devil do, man. Central America, South America, Brazil. All right, this damn devil do, man. And this is what he's doing, man. He's pitting the tribe of Issachar, so-called Mexicans, against the tribe of Judah, man. He did that down in Mexico, man, with that damn caste system. The same thing up here, man. All right. It's Esau doing this shit, man. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you falling for this dumb shit, man. You know. And on top of that, a deeper thing, this go back to the curses, man. Deuteronomy 28, 54, 56. It also go back to the split of the kingdom in 1 Kings chapter 11, man. But guess what? The curses come off all this, man, because now you see the northern kingdom, southern kingdom coming together, man. The so-called Negroes, so-called West Indians, so-called Haitians, and the so-called Latinos, Native Americans come back together, man. All right, that's why I see a lot of brothers out here in the camps, man. A lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American brothers, all the various camps. There's like camps throughout America, man. All right. And little that you don't know is that this is from the final call. It says right here, it says, since Mexico was hospitable to any fugitive slave, hundreds had fled to Mexican territory. The U.S. proposed a treaty of amity, commerce navigated between Mexico and the United States to stop the trend. Both parties signed the treaty on July 10th, 1827. However, it had to be ratified by Mexican Congress and was met with staunch opposition. It said the Committee of Foreign Relations of Mexican Trade had a major problem with Article 33 of the proposed treaty, which dealt with fugitive slave community. The committee ultimately recommended its rejection. It said after the Mexican-American War, where Mexico lost nearly 50% of the territory, fugitive slaves still across the border seeking refuge from merciless oppressions of the masses. Mexico once more with firm protection of fugitive slaves, recommended the Constitution in 1857 to the freedom of all fugitive slaves who set foot on Mexico soil. Mexico also constituted ban any intentional extradition treaty covered individuals who had been slaves. When in 1857, James Frisbee, a Negro seaman, jumped ship in the Veracruz and claimed he'd been a slave in New Orleans, whose master assigned him on board the Metacombs crew. The port captain refused to turn him over. U.S. Representative Mexico John Foote resorted to arm towards Mexico to the point that claimed Mexico extended privilege to a seaman because the ebony of his skin color, man. All right. And not saying Mexico had a problem, because Mexico still was, they still had Edomites there, man. All right. So the property curses was still going to be upon us, man. All right. Let me read this. And this is from the book Africa Gifts to America by J.A. Rogers. All right. Let me get this right here. It says, right here on page 91, it says the reason given for the annexation was the wretched financial state of the republic. Its papal dollar had fallen to 2 cents, but the more evident one was that the Texans needed U.S. protection. The Mexicans had never become reconciled to the laws. To make it worse, Americans regarded them as niggers. Federal laws that who visit Texas before and after the Republic tells almost all open war between two of the assassination, the burning homes. They, the Mexicans, said hate and fear the ascended race, and voluntary associates sympathize with the Negroes. All right. So, Travis Scott, they sympathize with us, man. All right. And he's all pissed off. They were treated as outlaws and regarded as niggers. One white man told also why they're as black as niggers and 10 times as treacherous. All right. But see, you don't know that, man. It's out to people destroy for lack of knowledge. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, man. All right. So there's a lot of history between you so-called Negroes, Judah, and so-called Mexicans, Issachar, that you don't know about, you're ignorant about, man. And Esau like to keep it that way, man. To keep you separate. All right. So, this is it, man. And, you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, man, you don't own the goddamn thing over here in America, man. All right, this is not our rest stop, man. All right, and also that war going on between the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes, and the tribe of Issachar, so-called Mexican California. That's engineered by Esau, man. All right, because Esau was the one who put the crack cocaine in the Israelite neighborhood in 1980s, man. He was counting on Jake talking about so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans. Which, look at this case, Judah, so-called nigga, he picked that up, picked those guns and everything, drug trade. Because Jake was controlling the drug trade, the street drug trade, as I like to put it. In California, Issachar wanted in on it, man. And that's the start of it, man. Issachar and Judah fighting over some fucking drug trade, which is fucking witchcraft anyway. Selling drugs. Something unrighteous. And that's what it's all about, man. The drug trade and gang beef, man. All right. Issachar ended up siding with the Aryan Brotherhood. All right. Mexican Mafia siding with them. I said, go back to the curses, man. All right. In Deuteronomy 28, 54, 56. That's what it's all about, man. The war between so-called Mexicans and so-called Negroes in California, man. It's all fucking drugs and gang shit, man. All right. So, again, so-called Negro, Latino, American, you're in captivity, you don't own a goddamn thing. And this divide and conquer device is bad Esau, the so-called white man. So, shalom.